Friends, this is Frederick Henry, and I'm just recording another podcast. I've recently returned to my home, and I was reading the internet and the news media, and it was very concerning to me to see that people are saying that on the Joe Biden bus tour, 6 people showed up, or 12 people showed up, or 37 people showed up, or 50 people showed up, or at a rally, 1,000 people even showed up. And then to say on the Trump rallies, there's 10,000, 12,000, 8,000, 4,000, plus 179,000 on the internet listening in. And the highest number for Joe Biden is 40,000 listening in. And I'm hearing the media tell us that Joe Biden is ahead by 16 and 18 points, whatever the numbers are. It doesn't make any difference in the nationwide polls. And so I'm wondering, is this all a scheme to warn us that the cheat is in, the fix is in, the mail-in ballots are in, and there's going to be a landslide for Joe Biden in the mail, although nobody voted for him? And this concerns me for the Democrat voters, my neighbors and friends. I have many neighbors and friends who are Democrats, as well as the Republicans, to ask the question, are we all being fooled? Are we all being played the sucker? Are we all being abused by crooks and thieves and tyrants who want to steal our freedom of vote? And so I really wholeheartedly believe in appear at the ballot box, enter into the curtain, pull the lever, and hope for the best. Because the mail-in ballot to me is a fraud, is open to fraudulent activities, and even Jerry Nadler in a probably deleted now Facebook piece and many others have said there's no question that you can win an election through voter fraud in mail-in ballots. And so I am very concerned about this because I really believe that the 63 million voters who voted for Trump are still going to vote for him. I think that 37%, up from 9%, 9% voted for blacks, 9% of blacks voted for Trump in the last election, is up to 37%, and maybe even 42% of blacks have now left their plantation and vote for Trump. Plus another 30 to 35 or 37% of former Democrats who have walked away from the Democrat Party in this election. They may go back to the Democrat Party in the future, but in this election, it's being reported from Brandon Straka and others that they've walked away, the walk-away movement, Candace Owens and others, that they have left the Democrat Party, at least for this election, and will vote for Donald J. Trump. And yet I'm terrified, maybe many of you are as well, that the election will be rigged, there will be cheating, there will be all kinds of problems, and that Donald J. Trump, a duly elected and beloved president, as my friend, black conservative patriot, on Open Source News says, wonderful guy. And if you're not listening to Black Conservative Patriot, please do listen to him. He's a great guy. He doesn't call me out, but I'll call him out. He's a wonderful guy. I'm terrified. I really am. I'm really worried. My wife and I, my children and I, my brothers and sisters, they're all concerned that this is going to be a ripped off, a cheating, a bogus election. And the Democrats are sending all kinds of signals. Months and months ago, they were saying, will Trump get out if he loses the election? That means if millions and millions of fraudulent mail-in ballots are counted, will Trump be vacating the White House because he knows it's a cheat and he knows it's a lie, like Nixon did, but he leaves anyway? Then they said, well, if he won't leave, the military will be loyal to the nation and the Congress, and they will march into the White House and oust the president. Al Gore, as recently as 3 or 4 days ago, said, this is October the 10th, Al Gore, as recently as a few days ago, said the military will be asked to march in and pry the president from his chair and oust him from the White House because he will not accept the election. Of course, we all know it's a fraudulent election, and we all know there's a cheating election, and all we know that the mail-in ballots are all unbelievably manipulated. But, they're already saying. Then we have Nancy Pelosi with the 25th Amendment. Oh, it's all about Biden. It's all about Biden. No, it's about Trump. So if Trump is elected, we'll use the 25th Amendment and say that the steroid he's on has made him insane. By the way, my dear friends, I take the exact same steroid in injection for my croup, adult croup, at 73 years old. It has absolutely no effect on my mental acuity, no effect on my ability to reason or think or to act. It merely relieves the croup and makes the croup go away. And it's merely a congestion thing. So anyway, Pepsi maybe will do the same thing in the future. I'll try that because I have to. Whenever I have adult croup, my friends, I do have that. I had whooping cough as a child, quite severe whooping cough as a child, and my father had to carry me from our apartment to the hospital and the doctor to get the injections on a daily basis until the whooping cough, and nobody even knows what the whooping cough is. But look it up, whooping cough. I think it's, I don't know how to spell it, but it's terrible thing. And I had it, it was horrible. But I got the daily injection from a person named Dr. Kennedy, wonderful woman, sometimes at the hospital, sometimes at the clinic, and sometimes in her own home. She would, sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning, my father would carry me to her office, and she would give me the injection to save my life from suffocation because the whooping cough kills you. It's a terrible thing. So, my dear friends, President Trump doesn't have the whooping cough, he doesn't have the measles, he doesn't have the mumps, he no longer has COVID-19. He's a strong and powerful leader. He's overcome that, and he's promised to deliver these things to us. Believe me, the most important word is promise. When President Trump promises, he delivers. When President Trump promises, he delivers. And he says, I'm going to make this stuff, remdesivir, that's such a difficult one. Oxyhydrochloroquine. It's such a difficult drug. Why did they just call it chloroquine? The other many therapeutics. We have so many. The thing is, we have to remember this. When this all started, this is my theory. I'm just another guy like you, but this is my theory. When this all started back in late February, early March, we knew nothing about it. It was a brand new thing. Our epidemiologists, our doctors, our medical professionals, our researchers didn't even know what in the world hit them. And all we had was lies out of Beijing and lies out of the World Health Organization and lies from Dr. Fauci. So we had to do something. My belief is that, remember, folks, all those people on those cruise ships out in the Pacific Ocean who had COVID-19 and who couldn't get out, I think, I have no proof of this, absolutely no proof. I disclaim it immediately. I have no proof, but this is my theory. My theory is that our health professionals said, go get these people off these ships, deliver them to California, we'll put them in Camp Pendleton and other places, and we'll quarantine them, and we'll draw their blood, and we'll study. We'll have the highest rating researchers at Pfizer and Eli Lilly and Baxter and all the others. I don't know all the names right now, but all our finest pharmaceutical and research firms, AstraZeneca, all these people, and even German firms, Bayer, and all these people. We'll have them all investigate these blood samples. We'll send them around the world. We'll come to a scientific conclusion about what's going on with these people. And we'll examine them. We'll keep them healthy. We'll give them oxychloroquine. And we'll give them everything they need. And they all survived. None of them died. And we'll use them as we need them. We need these good people. So we rescued them by helicopter off these ships. We brought them to California. We put them in Pendleton and other places. And we draw their blood. We x-rayed their bodies. We gave them every test we knew how. And we improved our knowledge 100% immediately, and then another 100%, and another 100%, and another 100% every single day, because the Chinese were lying to us, and we didn't have any factual data. So our people took the initiative way back in February, early March, to save these people from the ships, and thereby save their lives, in return for their blood and for their cooperation in the trials. And so we learned a tremendous amount about this man-made Wuhan virus produced in China. I'm not even claiming here that they sent it to us. I'm not even claiming to us that they plan to a biological attack. I'm not even claiming here that this is all an act of war. I'm just saying we were lied to by the World Health Organization controlled by China and by China itself and by many others, and we had to take a leadership role under Donald J. Trump, duly elected and beloved president of the United States, to get in there and find out the facts. And we found out the facts. We got the blood samples. We took the lung scans. We took the nasal scans. We took the sputum scans. We did all these things. And we found that a tremendous amount. And we gave that to our pharmaceutical companies, Pfizer, Lilly, all the other ones. Those are the ones that come to my mind. Baxter, whoever these are, Moderna, thousands of. We gave them the information. We shared it openly. It was open source information. And their scientists in their laboratories throughout America in 50 states went at it right away. Our best scientists, our best researchers, our best biological people, our best epidemiologists. Not Fauci and Birx. They're just front people. They belong in the front. They're political hacks. I'm afraid to say that, but I'm going to tell you that. I believe that because they could have done so much more, but they didn't. Anyway, President Trump backed all this. We put pressure for speed, not for quality. We didn't put pressure for quality. We didn't put pressure for safety. We didn't put pressure for non-scientific methods. We didn't pressure the people to act a short circuit known scientific procedures, but we did pressure bureaucratic slovenliness, and we did pressure bureaucratic slowness, and we didn't pressure a bureaucratic obfuscation. We pressed to get this done because this is a pandemic, and we came up with solutions. First off, we came up with identification. We came up with knowledge. We came up with the identification of the COVID molecule. We came up with all that. And understanding is the beginning of a cure. And we came to an understanding. We completely comprehended the nature of this man-made Wuhan Chinese Communist Party virus. And once we had that, then we could go forward. Once we knew what we were dealing with, once we had an exact model of what we were dealing with, once we knew all the properties of what we were dealing with, once we understood the mutation or non-mutation ability of this man-made Wuhan Communist Chinese Party virus, then we would move forward. And we have moved forward. And we use oxyhydrochloroquine because it was available, cheap and available, and it worked in the early stages. And people who got it, many of them, senators, congressmen, many citizens, friends of mine, said they went to the hospital right away as soon as they thought they had symptoms. They were diagnosed as having the COVID-19. They take the oxyhydrochloroquine, and they got better in 5 to 9 days. Wonderful, fantastic. And God bless them. Then we had the researchers working, the pharmaceuticals, and they came up with the new drug. I don't even know how to say it. Predesivir that the president took, and it worked wonderful for him. And then we had the antibody, which is an injectability or IV with the antibodies, and replicated in the laboratory, which worked wonders for him and will work wonders for us. So we are well on our way to conquer. We have the vaccine coming out anytime soon, November. It doesn't matter. Before the election, after the election, who cares? But we have to remember that President Trump, Vice President Pence and his commission and all the federal government put pressure on the bureaucracy to stop the slowness, to stop the gate stopping it, to lift the gates, to open the gates, to allow freedom of interchange of information, to allow freedom of research, to allow freedom of sharing, and to overcome all the bureaucratic slowness to come up with a vaccine, which will be any day now, a vaccine. And then we have President Trump coming down with the COVID-19. Now, President Trump comes down with the COVID-19. Everybody goes crazy. But President Trump told us after he came out of the hospital, I was not myself. I was tired. I was lethargic. I knew there was something wrong. I turned to the doctors. I went right to the doctors. Now, he has doctors in-house, but you and I can go to the doctor. We have plenty of doctors. We have plenty of emergency rooms. We have plenty of clinics. plenty of urgent cares. Please, folks, don't keep lying about you don't have availability. You have huge availability. People from Canada, all over the world, come to the United States because of the easy availability of medical care. And so President Trump turned to the medical professionals.